Hello everyone, welcome to another video with my life in the middle. This is your girl Lanisha, and today I am continuing to talk about my Paris 40th birthday trip and everything that occurred and what I got on that trip. When I tell you it was an epic birthday, it definitely was. So if you know or if you don't know, based on my previous video, I wanted to go to Paris for my 40th birthday. I had already been to Paris a couple of times, but in my mind I wanted to wake up in Paris on my 40th birthday. And one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Paris for that birthday was because I wanted to get my first Birkin. Now, when I had that proclamation in my head, I didn't know about the Hermès game. I didn't know about what you had to do to get a Birkin. I didn't know any of that. All I knew was that a Birkin was hard to get and mostly celebrities have it, and it's an expensive bag, and in Paris is one of the only places that you can have the opportunity to buy a Birkin based on a lottery system. So I said to myself that I'm going to save up some money, and then when I'm 40 years old, I am going to go to Paris and I am going to try with the lottery system to get what would probably be my first and only Birkin. That was the idea. However, when I tell you that God had other things planned for me, he surely did. And by the time I turned 40, I already had 2 Birkins and a special order on the way that is from the boutique itself. So fortunately, the idea of going to Paris to play the lottery, I didn't have to do that, right? I already had what I was seeking, more than what I was seeking, and so it was never again a priority like it was before. So since that had already got accomplished, whether intentionally or unintentionally, I still wanted to go to Paris, and I wanted to go to Paris and enjoy myself. And up until that point, I had not ever been into a Hermes boutique in Paris, right? And so now I'm in Paris and I wanted to see what a Hermes boutique is like. I wanted to see all the different things that I see on these wonderful YouTube videos and reels about the Hermes flagship store in Paris. So I was like, let's go. Let's see. Now, I did do the lottery. I think I did it. I was in Paris for a full week, and I did the lottery like maybe 2 days out of the week. And then after that, I just kind of was like, whatever, it doesn't matter anyway. But I did the lottery system because I wanted to just have the experience of doing it and see what it was like. And let me tell you something. You have to be within the area and you have to be hooked up on Wi-Fi to be able to do this lottery system. Because I tried to do it here in the United States because I knew by the time I get to Paris, it was going to be Sunday and the store was going to be closed on a Sunday. So I wanted to try to put in my lottery submission on the Saturday for the Monday. However, even though I was hooked onto a Wi-Fi, I was not able to enter the system to put in that application. So that was interesting. So I did learn that, and I was not able to put it in until Monday while in Paris while on Wi-Fi. So just so you know that. Now, I don't know if other people maybe in the EU, were able to do it because they're in a closer proximity, but me trying to do it from the United States, even me trying to do it from the airplane, couldn't do it. Could not do it. Nevertheless, one of the days we did go by the Hermes flagship store. It's called the Faubourg store. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And we went later in the evening. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening when we went. We did not have to queue outside or anything like that. We just completely walked in. A hostess was there. They asked us if we wanted to put our name down to be paired with a sales associate. I told her no. We are just we're just browsing, we're just looking. And so we went ahead and we browsed the entire store, and it was great. It was a beautiful store. The store does seem a bit cramped to me. There was so much going on in the space, so it just seemed like, there was just a lot of stuff in a small amount of space. And then also there was a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there. So that could also contribute to the cramped feel. What I did notice is that the sales associates that, that were walking around, they were all very polite, very, they smiled and greeted you. But, they smiled, greeted you, and kept it walking. But that's fine because they were all busy because the store was so packed. But the people, the patrons, the people who were in the store, they all seemed so tense. And I'm guessing they were tense because I could only assume it was like everybody's trying to get that illustrious leather appointment, right? So it was very interesting to see how tense people were and how they were like sitting and whispering and, you know, had this very serious look on their face. And it was quite interesting. The atmosphere was very tense, right? And very serious. Nevertheless, they had a lot of bags on display. I did not get to film everything because the store was so packed that I'm trying to film and not, you know, get other people, you know, in the shot. It was so difficult. But it was very interesting to see a lot of the items and the bags and things that they had on display, because there was a lot of things that I have never seen before. And so that was definitely interesting. There were multiple floors, and we went and we explored all the floors. We did get to see leather appointments, you know, occurring, you know, in real time. They were doing that on like the second floor of the store. They had an area where there was, you know, some decks lined up, and they had some bags on display around the desk, and they had people sitting there, you know, viewing, you know, bags. I didn't see any quota bags being offered. I did see like a Ruli being offered. I did see her bag being offered. What else did I see? I did see an Evelyn being offered, but I didn't catch a quota bag being offered during that time. But then again, you know, I wasn't trying to stare either and, you know, invade people's experience. But yeah, so that was, you know, that was my thing about the store. And when I left the Flagship store, I had this sense of relief, like damn, thank God I already got Birkin. Because if I had to go here and go through what looked to me at the time like a rat race with this highly populated store, and trying to get the attention of a sales associate, and trying to talk to them when they're trying to be very professional and polite but serious, and everybody's so tense and everybody wants one thing, it just made me uncomfortable. And that was not the type of experience I would have wanted to get what I thought would have been my first and only Birkin. So I felt very relieved, like, oh my God, thank God I already have a Birkin. Thank God that I wasn't coming here with the intention of getting a Birkin, because I don't think this would be the experience I wanted. This is not a sense of luxury. It almost seemed like auction, or like a I don't know. I'm trying to find the right words to describe it. It just didn't feel luxurious. It kind of felt like it would have been a desperate situation for me. And unless I probably would have gotten a leather appointment, then I would have went to the store with the intention of that leather appointment. But then again, how hard that would be to play the lottery, right? So yeah. So I did leave there with a sense of relief. However, you know, after seeing that and experiencing that and feeling that tension there, I was like, oh, but this can't be it, right? This cannot be the Hermes experience in Paris, right? It has to be better. Something got to give. And I kind of felt that way more so because my beautiful, wonderful essay at my local boutique has moved on from Hermes. She is no longer there. And though I believe that I would get paired with a nice, wonderful essay, another essay, I just know that I'm going to miss that experience with my essay. And so I thought to myself, you know, if I'm not going to have that experience with her, and I already have 2 Birkins, and I have a special order that I still haven't yet received, is it really necessary to try to build a whole nother relationship? I mean, come on, how many quota bags am I really trying to have? So I was like, okay, well, if I do decide to want another quota bag, then maybe Paris might be the best option for me, because, you know, it's definitely at a lower price, and definitely a situation where you don't have to do all that pre-spend and stuff like that. So, and plus I just absolutely love Paris. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm planning to go to Paris at least once a year, and I want to build a relationship with an essay there, this is what I have to go through. This can't be it, right? And that's what was in my head. Like, this cannot be the Paris Hermes experience. So the next day, I wanted to go visit another Hermes store. I know they have the Sèvres location, and they have the George V store. And so I wanted to visit at least one of them. At the time where we were closest to the George V store. And so we decided to go visit that store. Now, I do realize that the George V store is the smallest of the 3 Paris stores. And I know they say that it's supposed to be more so for local clientele and stuff like that. However, I wanted to go. And honest to God, I am very happy that we went. When we went, it was such a different experience. When I tell you, from the moment we opened the door, there was a sense of warmth. People were very welcoming. Everybody was smiling, even though the store was busy. It was busy. It was a completely different atmosphere. When we went in, they asked us if there was anything particular that we were looking for, and we said, no, not really. We're not really looking for something particular. We just wanted to look around. And they said, fine, if you need anything, let us know. And then as you enter, you kind of enter like with the perfume and makeup area, and then off to the right you had like the fashion jewelry area, and to the back of that area you had where they were doing leather appointments. And then from the door, if you look to the left, you had like hats and things like that on that area. So I did see that area, and I thought to myself, oh my god, there is a hat that I was curious about, and let me see if they have it here, because they didn't have it at my local store. So I asked someone about it, and the lady, she was wonderful. She immediately came over, tried to help me find the hat I was looking for. Unfortunately, they did not have it. She did help me to try on other hats, and then asked me if there was anything else I wanted to look at, so on and so forth. We did start looking at some fashion jewelry, things like that. I asked her, if she was able to go to the other departments in the store, because I didn't want to, look at fine jewelry, and I wanted to look at some shoes. And she said, unfortunately, she was not able to go to the other departments in the store, but if I went upstairs, and somebody will help me there. And I said, okay, thank you. I got her name, and I told her, thank you for being so gracious. And then we proceeded upstairs. And upstairs, when we got upstairs, we started to walk around, and we came up to the fine jewelry area. So the fine jewelry area had the sterling silver as well as the gold jewelry. And so we were looking at that, and there was a ring that I have been very curious about and I wanted to try. And I said, since I'm here, let me try the ring. So we then got paired with an essay. She was standing there. She asked us if we needed any help. We said yes. I told her what ring I was looking for, and asked her, if they have it in different sizes. She asked me what was my size. I told her I wasn't actually sure what my size was. So she did allow me to try on the different ring sizes, and she then whisked away, and then she came back with very selection of silver rings, because she did not have the particular ring I was looking for in my size. So she just brought a bunch of other silver rings in my size that I could try, and I thought that was so sweet. So we were looking at that, and I saw a ring that I liked, and I was like, oh, this is nice. But then when I tried it on, it was a little bit too big. So I asked her if she had it in a smaller size, and then she said sure. She went to go get it in a smaller size. So while we're sitting there, my best friend, who has never been into a Hermes boutique other than when we went and visited the Flagship store the day before, and has never bought anything from Hermes, she was looking at the rings, and she was like, I think I like one of these rings. I was like, what? You what? Now, I have mentioned it before, my best friend is not into Hermes, not into luxury. She ain't into none of this stuff. She likes what she likes, and she don't like what she don't like, and she don't like spending a whole lot of money on what she thinks are not going to earn her money, right? And I respect her for that. But when that girl said, I think I might want one of these rings, I was all for it. I was so excited. I really, really was. And she was like, girl, calm down. But I really was. So, I was in full enabler mode. So she was trying on different rings, and she found one that she liked, and I found one that I liked, and we kind of went from there. So we told the essay that, hey, she will like this ring and I will like this other ring, and but we still wanted to look at other things. Is it possible for her to go to different areas or departments within the store? And she said, yes, I definitely can. Let me get this together for you, and we can go ahead. Now, before we did that, she asked us if we had basically a profile in Paris. And I told her, no, I had a profile in the United States, but I never bought anything in Paris. And she said, unfortunately, my profile in the United States does not cross over to that of Paris. I will have to create a new profile in Paris. So we went ahead and did that. So she created a profile for me in Paris, and then my best friend also created her Hermes profile in Paris. As you can tell, I'm super excited about that. And so we did that. And so I was a bit curious about that, because I thought that the profiles were now linked internationally. And she told me, no, unfortunately, they're not. She did say, however, that the managers are able to see the profile in the United States. but she, as a sales associate, was not able to see my US profile. So I thought that was interesting, and I think that's where it comes about, where maybe in getting offered a bag or a quota bag, they look at both your profile in the United States and in Paris. And I thought that was a very interesting take. Because of that, I can't help myself. I'm just nosy. I straight up asked her, so you have a 2-bag quota. If you already got a quota bag in the United States, would that affect you getting a quota bag in Paris? And she said, yes, that can. Depends on how many quota bags you've already received. And I thought, She said, because the managers can see it. So I thought it was interesting. And when I asked that, I saw her face like, like, are you trying to get a bag? But I just was curious, and I was just like, okay, no, I'm just curious, and left it at that. After that, we went to the men's shoes department and we looked around, and then from there we went to the women's shoes department and we looked around, and I told her some shoes I was interested in, told her my size, and asked her, if she can just bring me whatever they had in my size, because bigger feet, it's limited, so and the interesting thing is too that usually my feet are wide, and so it's harder for me to fit the Hermes women's shoes because they tend to be more narrow. So usually I would buy like my chypre sandals, or I have Izmir sandals instead of Oran sandals, because the men's sandals tend to be wider. But since I've lost weight, I guess my foot lost weight too, so I wanted to give the women's shoes a try. And so she did go in the back, very nice, and was able to bring out some shoes for me to try, and I did select a shoe that I liked and fit well. So then from there, from there we actually checked out. But before we checked out, she kept asking us, is there anything you would like? Is there anything you would like? Is there anything else you wanted to see? Is there anything else you wanted to look at? And we just said, no, we're good. And also, I failed to mention that the day that we went to the George V store, it was my birthday. It was my actual birthday. And so she did wish me happy birthday. She brought us some champagne and things like that. And this was from when we were looking at the fine jewelry. Before we even said we were going to buy anything, she did bring us champagne and wish me happy birthday. We had a great conversation with her and stuff like that. She was, when I tell you, she was a darling. She was a darling. And hey, she was a Scorpio too. Okay, so we saw eye to eye. But yeah, so she kept asking, is there anything else I can help you with? Is there anything else you would like to see? And so she kept asking that, and we kept saying, no, we're good. That's it for today, and that's all we wanted to see, and whatever. And in the back of my mind, I was like, is she trying to ask us if we want to see a bag, if we want a leather appointment? I don't know. But I guess I would never know, because I didn't take the bait. Because I'm gonna be honest, a Hermes bag was not in my budget, so no. So we did check out, and then once we checked out, she then walked us back downstairs, with our bags, and was trying to walk us to the door. And then when she walked us to the door, we then said, oh wait, I wanted to see some perfume. There was a perfume that I've been meaning to buy, and that since I'm here, I wanted to see it and buy it here. So then we started looking at the perfumes, and my best friend started looking at perfumes, and so we spent some more time in that area, and there was a designated associate in that area that was more familiar with the perfumes and the makeup and stuff like that was helping our sales associates navigate that area. That associate was more familiar with the notes in each perfume or cologne. She was much more knowledgeable of that area, and she kind of helped facilitate or sales associate with those purchases. So again, my best friend got herself a perfume, and I got the same perfume that I wanted to get. And so we then was checking out. Now, because now we're on the first floor of the store, the checkout area in the first floor of the store, one of the checkout areas was, there was I want to say there were a little bit multiple areas, but one of the checkout areas was occupied. It was, people were there doing stuff. So the checkout area that was not occupied was actually in the leather goods, leather appointment area. So she walked us over there and told us, feel free to look around while I get your packages ready. So we were standing there, and we were able to look at, as people were getting some bag offers, we were able to look at the different bags on display. And then the associate that was in the perfume area, she walked past us, and she was like, ladies, go take a closer look. Take a closer look. Don't be shy. And my best friend was like, no, we will admire from afar. But it was interesting because then I was able to, like, you know, kind of show my best friend, you know, some of the bags that I like, and was telling her about the different bags. And, you know, they were kind of like watching me tell her about the different bags and which ones I like, and she was telling me which ones she liked, and kind of so on and so forth. But we kind of just stood off into the corner and waited, and we checked out for a perfume. Or sales associate wrapped us up again. And then walked us back to the door. She, again, before we left, she said, is there anything else I can help you with? We told her, no, we're fine. Thank you so much for being wonderful. And we left. So after visiting the George V store, I felt so much better. I felt so much better. I really did, because I was just like, yes. Now this seems like what the Hermes experience in Paris should be. It was lighthearted. She was nice. She was very personable. There was no pressure. You know, it was fun. I enjoyed myself. I really did. I enjoyed myself. And it made it all the better because it was my actual birthday. It was my actual birthday. And so, yes, I left that store feeling, you know, like, okay, yes, this is a potential sales associate that I can build a relationship with. We did exchange information. And so I'm like, yes, this is somebody I can build a relationship. This is somebody I will be delighted to come back and see, and not feel pressure or feel this tense atmosphere or anything. Everybody in that store was lovely, lovely. So I am so happy. I am so happy that was the experience. I'm so happy and pleased with that experience that I did not even go to the Seb's boutique. I really didn't. I was like, you know what? I like that boutique. I like the smaller boutique feel. I liked the, you know, the interpersonal relationship that you kind of feel like you can get with it. And I like how they all collaborated and helped each other. I thought that was great. So without further ado, you now know my Paris Hermes experience, and you now know that no, I did not get a bag, whether quota or non-quota bag, because that was not in my budget. However, I do feel like I can build a relationship with a sales associate moving forward for further Paris trips. And if I should choose to try to get a leather appointment the next time, hopefully she can help me. We shall see. But let me show you the goodies I got. So first, let's start with the ring. So here we are. It came in this box. I have not opened this since she packaged it up. So there you are. So, oh my god, it's so pretty. Oh my god. So this is the ring I got. Hopefully it focuses and you can see it very well. Now I will put the name of this ring at the bottom. Looking at it so you can see it closer, it is like a double ring. So the bottom, let's see if it focuses. The bottom is like a belt buckle, and then the top is more of a solid ring. And the bottom has like this intricate you know, woven detail. And yeah, so it's kind of looked like a double ring. When I got it to fit on my right ring finger, but it can also fit on some other fingers. So this is what it looks like on my hand. Isn't she pretty? I just thought this was so pretty and unique. I haven't seen this ring, and no, this wasn't the ring I was going for. I was looking for one of the Farandol rings. But this, when I saw this, I just had to get it. I had to get it. This is beautiful. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that on. And then the next thing I got was in the shoe department. And so, no, it's not in a box because, you know, traveling. So this is the shoe that I decided to get. And here it is. Yes. So I tried on both the black and the white, and because those were the only two colors they had in my size, which is 42. And you know, like, you know, there's other shoes I have that are 41, but for Hermes I have to go to a 42 because of the width. But I decided to get the white because I do not own any white sandals. Go figure. So I decided to get the white. Let me take this out so you can see. Because I thought, you know, I love wearing dresses and things like that, and I thought that the white will go well with dresses. I live in Florida. It is sunny and tropical majority of the year, so this will get a lot of use for me, and I found this shoe to be very comfortable. I did consider getting a jet sneaker. However, the color of the jet sneaker that I wanted, they did not have. In my size, they only had like a beige in my size, and I thought that was going to be too similar to the beige Sambas I have, which I guess I get it, you know, some Adidas Sambas is nowhere close to some Hermes jet sneakers, but I don't need multiple shoes the same color, especially low profile sneakers, you know. So yes, that is the second thing I got. And then in this wonderfully nicely wrapped box is the perfume I got. And this it is. It is the Birkin perfume. Now, I have had samples. My SA from my local boutique has given me a lot of samples of the Birkin perfume that I didn't need to buy it. So, as she's no longer there at the boutique and I really do like this perfume, I decided, hey, you know, why not get it while in Paris? So I did get the larger bottle because I really do love this perfume. They also had a newer version of this, which is they call the intense version of this, and I did try that to see if I would like that better, but no, I liked the original better, so I got that. So yes. So those are the 3 items I got at Hermes in Paris. You know, even though it wasn't the original experience I was looking for, getting a quota bag, my first Birkin in Paris, I am super grateful that I went to Paris with a relaxed mind, not wanting or needing a Birkin, because I'm so blessed to already have 2. And so it was a great experience to just go and explore and, you know, genuinely fall in love with the store there without any ulterior motives, right? Just shopping, right? And on my birthday, and the sales associates there were so grateful, especially the sales associate that helped us. She was so wonderful and so nice. So yeah, it was a great experience. I love it. I would definitely be revisiting the George V boutique in Paris again, hopefully soon, right? We shall see. Alright, so I say thank you for watching my video. I thank you for sticking with me through this long explanation about my Hermes Paris experience. Hopefully you were able to pick up some things from my experience. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I love interacting with you all. That's my favorite part of having a YouTube channel, is interacting with each of you. So please leave your comments and your questions, you know, below. For those of you who have already subscribed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is really appreciated. For those of you who have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting on? Come join our family. We will love to have you. All right, I'll see you in the next one.
Hi, did you like my mommy's video? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. She'll be really happy. Bye.